speed to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Good afternoon. It's Friday and it's about 2 p.m. Central European time. And I hope you guys have had a great week so far. It is almost weekend. For me, technically, it is weekend. I just stopped working like 15 minutes ago. So you could say this is weekend. And the good news is that I have kept my crocheting code up, which means that I'm still on track of the finishing one color transition per cake per day, because that's basically what I have to do if I want to finish the Hat Collector Shawl in the month of June. So yeah, I still kept up. But I know on Tuesday I will not be able to do like almost anything. So I will probably need to see if I can do a bit of advanced crochet this weekend. I don't know if I'll have time for it, because the weekends is always very much I do not know what's going to happen. So I guess, yeah, time will show, right? But we'll figure it out. Good morning, Rev. I hope you're having a great morning so far. And yeah, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this stream. Thummies. It is super helpful. That maybe gets us some more new friends to hang out with here while we are crocheting. Good afternoon, Helle. Hello, Susan, and a good morning to you, as well as good morning, Megan. Indeed, it is a happy Friday. It is almost weekend. I have started on row 53 last night, and we are not like a lot. It is one of the lace rows, which means that we do have a lot of chain spaces. That means this row is a bit quicker than the other rows. Not like dreadfully quick, but it's quicker. I did find the pattern already, so I am ready in at least to crack on for a bit, and I guess we'll have to see where we will end. So I am right now finding my dual camera setting right there, and it does look, funnily enough, one of them look a bit darker, but it might be the light in here. But let's flip over and flip you guys down. Of course, if you at any stage would like to see the big fancy overlay picture that I made, which is also still in the thumbnail, I'm just flipping it a bit around to make some of these a bit different. I don't feel I did something at least, but honestly, it looks very identical every through so often, because these row takes forever, right? That's basically what it is. So it is an increased row. but I am increasing while also doing extra chains, because instead of doing double crochets in each row, I do a chain and skip a stitch and then a double crochet in the following. I need to watch out that I don't get my yarns tangled up here. I changed also cake when I was crocheting yesterday, so we are into the second cake of this color, where we did the color change together Monday, right, when we're streaming together Monday. So, and if everything, no, not Monday, Wednesday. I wasn't streaming Monday. Oh my goodness, time flies. I'll be streaming on Monday, and I'll be streaming on Wednesday, and on Friday, if everything goes according to my plan. I think that's good so far, at least. 1, 2 to skip, and then we are back into. So as I said, these are the quicker rounds. I am still with the scout today. I was very inclined to keep my poncho on, but I kind of hope sitting with this big shawl and the blanket as well does keep me warm, because it's still like autumn here, except I believe that at the end of this week or beginning of next, it's starting to become summer again, like, 20 plus degrees. I don't know if we're happy it's like 16 outside. I don't know, 15, 16. Maybe it's also still showers in the vicinity. Let's see. Just for funsies, what is the weather here in the Netherlands? It should be cloudy with a temperature of 65 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 18 degrees Celsius. Warmer than yesterday. Yesterday was just 13 degrees here. The wind is blowing from west at 12 miles per hour and the current should be 74. Yeah, they did talk about we should have rain at some stage today. I guess we will have to see how that goes. Honestly, the goal of today is just a cracking on. If I'll finish this row, that will be amazing, but I have zero expectations of doing so because there is a lot of stitches, my friends, and you know that. But I think a very official goal is definitely to see if we can get the cake changed. And once that cake is changed, then I can just crack on to the next color change without worrying. So that is nice. I have to say these colors are so light that it is getting more difficult to see the actual color changes happening. So the gradient towards the cream is getting much, much smoother. That's going to look so nice once we are done. Okay, skip 2. I'm just counting. 2, 4, 5, 3, 3, 2, 4, 5 fits. Yeah, so what are you guys working on today? Do you have any plans for today? Yeah, what's up on this lovely windy Friday here in the Netherlands? Good morning, Jessica. Great to see you. I genuinely hope you guys have better weather than I do. I mean, it's supposed to be summer, but I do not feel like summer at all. Well, technically, I believe June is June a spring month? No, it's autumn. No, it's summer, isn't it? July, August is summer for sure. September, October, November is autumn. Yeah, June is summer. Because December, January, February is winter, usually speaking terms. March is then spring. So technically it's summer, but this does not feel like summer. I tell you, it does not feel like summer to me. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy that I've kept up the progress here. My partner had a meeting last night, so nobody was bothering me outside the regular. I guess that could be said as a benefit. So we have 3 there, 3 there. And we are going back to the chain spaces. Hella says she is working on the t-shirt that I had been so kind to order from her. So maybe, if I'm lucky, it is finished when I get home in July. Time will let us see. If not, then it's for next year, I guess. 2, 4, 5, 3, 3, 2, 4, 5. But yeah, not much interesting otherwise happening. We don't have the biggest plans this weekend. I do know that my partner used to help my mom-in-law to bring away some old furniture because she has ordered new one that should be coming soon. So she's definitely looking forward for that. I'm just looking forward for a couch that you can sit decently in without having the feeling you're sliding away. Now that would be nice. But in the end, it's still like a patience deal, I guess. 1, 2. But yeah, so that's nice, I guess. Yep. And then further than that, no real plans. I really should get going on some gardening, but honestly, it's just been raining most of the time, and I don't really feel like doing any gardening when it's rainy or when the ground is really moist like it is right now. It's basically almost more mud than anything else outside, because it's been like for the past 2 weeks, if not 2.5, just been raining every day with maybe one day where it missed raining. Good morning, Suzanne. Great to see you. Hope you're having a good morning so far. And as you can see, I am just cracking on here with the Heart Collector shawl. It's reasonably simple so far. I need to just keep track that I do the correct amount of stitches. And I don't forget stitches, and I don't add stitches, because that is something I tend to be sometimes good at. 2, 4, 5. That matches. Tip correct, approved. So far, since I started being much more thorough, double checking after I had finished, I haven't needed to frog. So let's hold on and hope, knock on wood, that I will remain on the good straight, because honestly, that would cost me too much time. And we have a goal, right? June. We are gonna finish this fella. We have to. Susan is just waking up with a coffee. Coffee is always a good plan. That is what I say when I open this chat is don't forget to grab a whip. Hang out with us. This is just like your stitching club, basically, except it's online. We are from all across, and I also have something to drink today. I have my tea, which, well, it's no surprise. Today the tea is my Droomvlucht tea. Droomvlucht is a dream flight, translated, and my dream today is let's finish up this Heart Collectors in June. That is what I'm dreaming about, to have this project done. I mean, I know it takes long, and I know it's going to be beautiful, but I'm getting to the point where I'm getting a little bit, I wouldn't say bored, but tired. Like, it's more like, ugh, still not finished. It's like the patience game right now. But we are getting closer. And then I guess we'll see what we'll be working on in July. Susan asks if I constantly count my stitches. When I'm just cracking on here, I don't count them. I count them every so often. Just quickly overview. And this is because this part of the pattern is sort of simple repeat. So each of these tips, obviously, which there's 27 of on each side, they are the same. So I just do a tip and then I double check if it's correct, if that makes sense. 2, 4, 5 is correct. 3, then 3, and then there needs to be 5 double crochets on this side, correct. So this one tip is correct. Next. And that's kind of speeding it up a bit, and especially if that means that I don't have to frock back, because oh my goodness, we do not want to frock this one. Not a single row anymore. No, no, no. It's too big of a project to frock. I mean, we are sitting on 1800 stitches, right? Probably it's more now, but it doesn't feel as much because of all the chains. So this row doesn't feel as bad as the next as the next row. I'm estimating we are heading towards the 1900 stitches after the next row. I didn't count, but I could. If you really want me to check how many stitches I'm actually doing, I will be more than happy to count. For row 54, this is 53. I just know it's going to be a lot of stitches. Susan says she's from Wisconsin in the Americas. Yeah, well, hello to Wisconsin. I think that's probably one of the first, at least from what I so recall. I may be wrong. I know we have a few people from the New York / New Hampshire area or New Jersey. Then we have some Canadians once in a while, and the oddball Texan. And then we have me. Well, I am in the Netherlands, so I'm in Europe. So that might be why you find my accent a bit funky. And Helle, she's in Denmark. And I speak more or less 4 languages fluently, where obviously English is one of them. 2, 4, 5, 3 and 3. I just need to have 5 on the side. Susan says my accent is delightful. Well, thank you. You know, my accent can fit in, which means if I'll tend to blend into whoever I talk to, except right now I talk to you guys and I don't hear anything directly back from you. Which reminds me, I should find some music actually. I don't hear anything directly from you, and that means that I don't have any influence. But if I'm in the UK, I will get a much more British accent tone. And if I'm in the States, it'll get a bit more American accented tone. And if I'm like when we visited family in New Zealand and I was talking English there, I realized over time that I was starting to sound a little bit more like a Kiwi. So that's, I guess, the fun facts here. But yeah. So music. Some classic music in the background. For 5, yep, that tip was correct. And meanwhile, we'll just crack on here. Do-do. 1, 2. So it kind of depends also on who I speak with. I can sometimes tend to adapt dialects. Oh, that is... Oh, not what I thought I had gotten. That was better. 1, 2. Sure, I can do that. So, the pattern I'm currently working on is the Heart Collector Shawl. Heart Collector Shawl is by Mustrum with Love. That is a Swedish designer. The pattern was originally created as a crochet along. It can be bought on Ravelry. I have linked to the pattern in the description box down below of this live, should you be interested in it. The yarns that I'm using is the Hobby Twister yarn, but you could technically use any fine / sport weight yarn. Be aware, of course, the thicker the yarn you use, the bigger the project is going to turn out. I am working on the large size. It is coming in 2 sizes. Large means that I need roughly 3,000 meters of yarn, so that's about 3,300 yards, a bit less, 3,250-ish. I have them on my spindle. This is how much I have left of 1 cake. I have 3 cakes that I'm working on, and for every time I have a color change, sorry about the lights, it's really bad because of how lights are and contrast stuff. Every time it changes color, I cut the yarn, take the next cake on, work it off until the color is finished, etc. And every three changes, I don't need to cut the yarn because I can continue into the next color yarn and then I cut and go back. So it's like back and forth, back and forth. The Hobby Twister here is, well, it's a 2-weight yarn. It's 45% acrylic, 55% cotton, if I remember correctly. It's nice and soft. It's very similar to Yarn Art's Flowers. And this colorway is called Rhubarb and Cream. And it turns out absolutely gorgeous. And the best I can do right now, because I'm not going to tilt up this because right now it lays nicely work position for me. And it makes a mess every time I move it around. So what I'm going to do for you quickly is I am going to show you the photo of it by doing this. This is the flat lay I made a week ago. And guys, isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it just gorgeous? We did change the color since, so it is a little bit light on the edges, but roughly that is where we're heading. But it is still growing, and we are roughly a little bit more than halfway. So there is still a fair bit to go. I started the center heart with a 3.25mm crochet hook, I believe it was, and the hook I'm currently using is the F hook, so 3.75. I think we got most covered, I believe. And yeah, I'm just cracking along, and the goal right now is to have this one finished in June, which will take a little bit effort from my side because, I mean, I started on it back in the end of February. Susan says, I'm sewing a tiny wool houses to wool squares and making broches. Good luck. I'm curious how that could turn out to be. We are all crafting in one way, shape, or form. Some of us are knitting, some of us are crocheting. I also craft my own buttons, which reminds me I still need to craft 2 buttons for the vest I'm making, but the vest is put on pause until this filler has finished. Though temperature-wise, it's definitely been west weather. I mean, I could have done it without feeling it too hot. But we decided to prioritize this for practical reasons. 2, 4, 5, 3, 3, because I need to block it a bit. And when I need to block it, I need lots of space. And the first weekend of July, I will be sort of home alone. But also, what is worth mentioning is that on the Sunday so far, I might have an appointment. Some would like to see me Saturday, so it could be that it's more like a home alone in the evening or in the afternoon. We'll see how that goes. I need to check also if I can borrow a car. But yeah. And thank you. It is quite beautiful. It just takes forever to make. It's a patience project. For the right price, if there even is a price for this, I'd probably be open to selling it. But I have a sense feeling that it might end up being a keeper just due to the amount of time this has taken me to make. As I said, I have some other yarns that will probably need me to use a 4mm hook. I've debated on making the same project with that yarn in the medium size. That should be enough. And that wouldn't require me to weave in ends all the time. That's what I've been doing here. I did weave in a couple of extra ends also yesterday. Oh, wait. Now I am making mistakes. So hold your horses. That was correct. Good. 2, 4, 5, 3, and 3. And then I need to do the skippies. That was better. But yeah. Definitely looking forward for it being finished. And I think another good reason for this is, and you must relate to that, when you're doing the really big projects, like the really, really big ones, the ones you know take time, and when they finish and you just can adore the result, you get this amazing feeling of accomplishment, like I made that. And I think, I'm getting impatient to get that amazing feeling for this particular project. So I'm not sure if the impatience can also be a sort of a motivation to keep cracking on. I mean, you guys are patient with me because you are seeing a lot of the same content right now when I'm live. So I hope you're here for the company and not necessarily for the shawl alone. Because it's still gonna be a bit before we are done, right? Patience is a virtue. That's true, by the way. And then we need to have 2 up here. We'll double check 5, 5, 5, and 3. Awesome. Oh. I'm subconsciously concerned that I forget some chains, but I don't think I have. That's positive. No chains forgotten. Yep. Benefit is, though, this lace row does count quicker than the other rows. And the real question is, do I see vaguely behind a slight tendency for a color change? But I think we still have a bit to go because, as I said, that was like one of the last things I actually did do last night. That was changing. So I hadn't done that much work in on this cake yet. Two, 4, 5. I wonder what this actually sounds like in non-shadow way. I should know it. Jessica says she's working on her lace project, but she will work on her heart collectors after that. I do believe I inspired Jessica to do the heart collector shawl, and it is a gorgeous one. It just takes so many hours. It's definitely a patience project. But oh my goodness, Jessica, once you are done with that one, you're going to feel an amazing accomplishment, I'm sure. At least I'm sure I will, because I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I wish you were done. But I'm like halfway. Why was it I chose to do the big one and not just the small one? Anyone tell me? Why were I so optimistic? I think if I'll do it again, I'll probably option for the smaller version. Also, then I have something to compare the difference with, right? That's not a bad idea, actually. But is it a project for anytime soon? No. We have a few other projects I definitely need to make first. I also had a little look in my thicker cotton yarns, similar to the yarns I used when I made, do you remember the jellyfish? And I definitely do have more scraps where I could definitely make more jellyfish in different colors. So I have a feeling that I might actually consider doing that this summer. Also, when I've been trimming ends after sewing in my ends, I have this bag of cuts, would probably be more correct, like these. And I do my darnest best just to collect them all, and I want to use them as filling because it seems like a good purpose instead of just dumping them in the garbage, because then I use every inch of fiber, right? And I think I am gonna do that. And Jessica says, I did indeed inspire her. Well, I am happy to be an inspiration. Rev says, well, you had 3 cakes of yarn that match, and then you got more yarn for it, so your eyes got you into trouble. So the thing is, Rev, I felt I needed something for the center. And that's why I ended up getting more yarn. That's true. But the 3 cakes I had actually ended up intentionally buying with the purpose of making this. Well, I already had 1 cake and I bought 2 more. That's more correct to say. at some stage when they were on sale, like, I don't know, a year or two ago, a bit of a while ago. So it's been a project that's been in my mind to do for a long time. I've just did not consider the amount of stitches, but I never do when I jump into stuff like that. Same when I made the blanket, right? I was like, oh my goodness. When I was getting towards the end, it was really tough because it felt like forever. 2, 4, 5. So once I'm done with this, and of course finished with the vest, because this heart collector shawl and the vest is the last 2 items that I had set in December that I wanted to finish in 2026. Which means that once these are done, I have absolute full freedom to pick up whatever project I like to do. And there will definitely be shawls in between and a few other projects for sure as well. So, and I also have some chenille yarns, which I kind of have surplus of in a color, which I had kind of gotten for a different reason, and ended up need so much to form it, which I kind of want to. I want to see how the jellyfish could turn out in a chenille yarn. It would be bigger, of course, than the cottons I've done, but I still absolutely would love to see an end result from that. So that's another pending project of mine that I need to get started at some stage. And we have the bat I want to make, but that's just a tiny small project, so that should go theoretically quick enough. And we have more hats to knit, also very important for 5. And we have 3 top. Coolio. My yarn for the cardigan got here yesterday. Awesome! I'd never played with this cotton sprout DK before, and it's also soft, like crazy soft for cotton yarn. Oh, that's nice. I have to say, generally, I have a really good experience with hobby yarns, the cotton yarns, etc., as well as the 8/8s from Linda Hobby and so on. They generally make them reasonably soft as long as you don't get their recycled versions. They can sometimes be a bit stiffer. So I'm kind of told, compared to, for example, I think I've heard actually the Sprout DK is soft, but I mean, I've also heard a lot people saying the peaches and cream and so on is kind of like rough and itchy in the sense of it's not a soft cotton. And if you think it's a soft cotton, then it's because you haven't felt soft cottons. So I assume you got started, or are you holding back because you want to finish a current project first? Peaches and concrete is very durable. Once you wash it, then it's nice and soft. Ah, peaches and concrete. I guess that was a new one. So it just needs a wash, you say? And then it's perfect. For 5. For 5. 3 and 3. You'll be making the... it's a vest, no? T-shirt. Jesus. It's a wearable. In the near future. Hexicati? Ah, it's rather rough from a stiffening agent, but that washes out easily. Yeah, that's often what gets in the way, right? Something that's been used to treat it. I have those 3 red beanies that I was knitting in January, and I still think after I gave one of them a wash just to feel the difference, and honestly, I barely feel a difference after it's been to the washing machine. So they're going into my donation pile. I will be donating them. Which reminds me, I need to remember to, I think what's going to be the easiest is to bring them with me to Denmark, and I'll have my mom donate them to the charity group where she crafts for. A short sleeve Texicati C. It was something along those lines. So some yarns definitely easily wash out and go nice and soft after the wash, but not all do, because this yarn didn't. The beanies looks good, but I mean, I'm just not sold on it, and I can't make myself something that I wouldn't wear myself because I'm not sold on the lack of softness. I will absolutely refuse to attempt sell. I'll just rather donate it. Plus, it then leaves my stash instantly. Another good reason that I would like. Here's the yarn I got. Give me a moment. See if it allows me to show, because the thing is, not all American websites allows me to see it because of IP addresses, but this one does, so that's a good thing. Premiere does allow some watching. Let's see if we can get to the right window. Bum bum. Here we have the Cotton Sprout DK. When not on sale, it's $5.49 per piece. And it's 100% cotton, so it is 100 grams to 210 meters. So it's a bit of like, what is this? It's not an 8/8. It's in between. It's more like an 8/6. I think lengthwise, when I compare the sort of known yarn brands. Let's see. I could pop over, I think, on Hobby has the 8/6 that I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. Look, creative deals. Save up to 50%. Yay, sweet. No. I do not. No. Do not need to buy yarn. So this is their 8/4. This is their 8/8, but they're 8/6. What is that? Lengthwise, just to compare, right? It's 50 grams to 105 meter. That means it's 100 grams to 210. And this is 100 grams to 210. So this yarn is strength-wise of a cotton exactly similar to the French cotton 8/8, but you need 2 balls of this to make 1 ball of this. Price-wise, they're probably also about the same. This is then balled up, and the other one is skeined up. That's the only difference. Here we call for a 5mm hook. What does this one do? They say 4. But I think everything depends on what you're making. I like the colors. This one is gorgeous. Ooh. Or no, not hunter green. But the laurel or canopy. This one is nice too. It could work great with hunter green though. What color did you get, Rev? Gray and laurel. So this is a gray. Then where do we have laurel? That's the green one. Now that could be nice. I'm looking forward to see the end result. I know that you will definitely share it with us for sure. And let's not forget to hydrate. And we are on to the next chain and a double crochet. Then it's counting time. 2, 4, 5, 3, 3, 2, 4, 5. Sweet. Skip 2. It's mostly going to be the grey. It's for the office, so with the purple laurel. Yeah, that's a challenge sometimes when you need to make something nice that's neutral or business-ish minded. Oh my goodness. I'm going to the office on Tuesday for work. And what can I say? I am sort of, yeah, both looking forward for it and also a little bit like, oh my goodness, I have to leave home. I do become a bit of a hermit on that case. At the same time, I do enjoy traveling. So it's a bit funny how I sometimes just prefer being at home and sometimes I prefer getting on the road. Two, four, 5, and 3 fits. With the rest of it being grey, might do the edge of floral. Yeah, that could also be an idea. Or maybe the sleeve. I know it's a short sleeve one. You're not making completely short vest. You do make like short sleeves. So maybe like the edge of the sleeve and the edge of the rest. That could work nicely, I think. You probably bought too much yarn because you didn't want to play yarn chicken. I don't blame you for that. I mean, I do have a couple of projects laying around where I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to have to play yarn chicken to be able to make this. I definitely have a few sweaters laying planned out. Curious if I'll be able to squeeze in when we get there. Need to take some more time for my body and self-care. I did 6 balls of grey and 3 of the laurel. It was on sale when I got it. I think it was like 30% off. Well, then it's a good deal, so I don't blame you for getting extra. And in worst case, you can always make something different with it. You know, I think the yarn would be great for a bucket hat as well if you have leftovers. It would be fine for a bucket hat if she needs a bucket hat to go with it. Depends on how much yarn you have left over when you're done, but you know, I think that's definitely not unrealistic to use for a bucket hat either. We always like to buy stuff when it's on sale. I swear to you. I tend to look for sales as well myself. 5. It's sort of an excuse to get yourself to buy extra yarn, I guess, because why wouldn't you buy it when it's on sale? Like, why would you pay full price for it if you could get it now, get it in advance? You save money rather than having to buy it when you can't get it on sale. I always say, especially to people who's buying from hobby, whatever yarn you're buying, it's likely going to go on sale within the next 3 months. So if you're not in a hurry, just be patient and wait for it to go on sale. Because trust me, you can save at least 30%. 4, 5, 3, 3. And bottom line, it's the same in most stores across, right? At some stage, it will go on sale. Premier is one of those companies that everything they sell, if you buy it in multiples of 3, they send it in a sleeve rather than loose. So they come packed by 3 from the factory to their storage warehouse by the sound of it. I mean, when I got the 10 packs, often, like if I buy 10 of a specific, like if the 50 gram skeins, I get them as a 10 pack from Hobby. And I'd much rather have them inside that container because it doesn't dust. So I do have some bags where they're still sealed because it would seem ridiculous to open them until I need to do the project. 2 for 5. We need to move this a bit around because we are making progress today. Which is good. It just means that I need to move things a bit around. So yeah, I tend to keep them in those packages if I get them in the packages. Yeah, I also don't have the fancy yarn shelf behind me. Wouldn't that be nice if I did? But I don't. I do not. Given the shocking states the some boxes show up in, I prefer it when they can get the yarn in the original plastic. Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't even need to be a box. Sometimes it's just enough to have some of those, clothing mailers. They can also sometimes arrive in a shape where you're like, ugh. 6. Is it not? It's not 2, 4, 6. It's 2, 4, 5, and 3. Plus, if it happens to be raining when it gets delivered, there is a bit of an extra protection. Also that, especially if you're not home and the delivery man just tends to dump the parcel on your door. Especially if you don't have a porch, like a covered porch or something like that with a roof. Here they aren't allowed to do it unless the parcel can stand dry, and I don't have a place for that outside my home for that purpose. So they will have to deliver my parcel to the neighbors if I'm not home. The neighbors, though, is just on the other side of the wall or on the other side of the street, so it's not like a long walk for them to do so. And I'm fine with them delivering my parcels to the neighbors if I'm not home, but it would be really nice if they would tell me what neighbor. Sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes you just get a message saying your parcel was delivered at the neighbors, and then I'm being like, okay, thank you for delivering my parcel. What neighbor did you deliver it to? Because I want to know what doorbell to buzz to get my parcel. I've experienced with the DHL sometimes that I'd gotten the message that my parcel was delivered, but it was delivered to my neighbor. That's not good. That's no good. I have a covered porch with a table by the door of packages. Guess what only gets used 40 to 60% of the time. I hope it's because you're home the other percentage of the time. Without knowing. Yeah, that looks good. Nope. Oh, that's not so good news. Good morning, Lisa! And yes, please hit the thummies. Let's get some more new friends in here. If you're new here and you're not said hello into the chat, hello. Thank you for joining us. Grab your projects, come sit down and say hello. We do not bite. We are lovely people. Right now, the weather in Quebec is cloudy with a temperature of 69 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 21 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from east to southeast at 9 miles per hour, and the humidity is 82. It's warmer in Quebec right now than it is in the Netherlands, and for us it's in the afternoon. That is, yeah. As I said, it's supposed to be summer. It feels like autumn. It feels like autumn, my friends here. Wait a second. I see sun. Okay, it's spring. I've seen the first sun of the day. Woohoo! Oh, that's amazing, by the way. I see sun. Let's be happy for that. Stina has a sun in her garden. All the tiny things that can make you happy. Meanwhile, the weather in Winkler is partly cloudy with a temperature of 57 degrees Fahrenheit, about 14 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from west at 15 miles per hour, and the humidity is 77. Ooh. Yeah, that sounds more fair in the sense of compared to it's still morning at your place. Rev says he had delivery showing up at the crack of dawn. Instead of putting it on the table, they decided to put it right in front of my storm door, which opens outward. Oh, that's not practical at all, isn't it? And it was not a light package either. Oh, goodness. Like, that's why I'm like, people don't think. Lisa says some people are just geniuses. That's my point with the people don't think, except Lisa said it in a much nicer way, I think. I mean, we had really a period where the delivery people here were lazy as fuck, to say the least. Because, I mean, the neighbor had to receive a parcel and he was home. He was working at his home office all day, which is facing the street, but he had the curtains down because I think the sun was shining. And he wanted some privacy. And the delivery dude came and buzzed my doorbell, and I happened to see the car driving in, parking in front of our like driveway. And I thought he came in a such speed that, you know, I was his first stop kind of feeling. And he said to me, yeah, the guy next door, he's not at home. Next door, well, on the other side of the street, he's not at home. Can I hand his parcel to you? I had to receive a parcel as well. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then the other dude came, so my neighbor came 2 hours later being like, how come you got my parcel? I've been home all day. I was like, I don't know. They claimed you weren't home, but I suspect they were too lazy to actually just go and bust the doorbell. No proof, but that's what I feel it was. I can understand when they put it at the end of the porch. I understand laziness, but that just felt deliberately spiteful. Yeah, maybe. It's when you think, you know, it's the same when you, if you're at the supermarket, it doesn't matter. Anywhere where you need some sort of customer interaction. It doesn't matter if it's the check-in counter at the airport or the staff on the flight attendants, or if it's a cashier at the supermarket and whatnot, especially cashiers at the supermarket. Sometimes you just get these answers where you're like, okay, you just don't want to be at work today. Why the fuck did you come? like, I don't ask you to be happy for your job, but at least act like you give a damn. And yeah, I don't think, did I ever tell you this story? So about a month ago, I was doing my groceries and I paid in cash. And I paid so that I would get an even amount back. Like, what would I get back? I should get like €1 back or something like that. €1 or €2 or something along those lines, like one coin. So I did that. And then the guy, this young guy who's, I'm quite sure, new, at least he did not know how to use his brain, he gave me €1 and 45 cents back. So what I've done is I had given them, let's say the amount was 49 euros 5 cents, right? 49 euros and 5 cents. So I gave them 50 euros and 5 cents. So I would get €1 back instead of getting all these tiny coins back for the 95 cents. And the guy, the cashier, did give me 1.49 back. And why did he give me 1.49 back? Because he had typed my 5 cents in as a 50-cent piece in the machine. And I told him, you're gonna be short of money when you're counting your tiller tonight. And he's like, no, the machine says I need to give you €1.45 back. And I'm like, no, you don't. You need to give me €1, just €1. No, I need to give you €1.45. I'm like, and I'm like, okay, whatever you want. Like, if you generally want to give me more money, sure, but you're gonna be short when you're making up the till tonight. He couldn't do head math. Like, I think youth nowadays, they can't do head math. Because I'm like, yeah, I think everybody's done on the phone or a calculator these days. Where the rest of us, we actually learned to calculate in our heads when we went to school. Now I feel old, by the way. Really old. And you just need to catch up behind Nightbud. Lisa says, at my doctor appointments yesterday, one of the patients needed a specific container for urine test. They didn't have it at the office, so the patient had to go to a different location to get it. What? He literally lost his mind. He was screaming and swearing at the poor girls. He started swinging his cane at people. Finally, they got him to leave. However, he was going to find a new doctor now. Jesus. I was handing out my blood yesterday to the doctors, right? I'll tell you that story in a few. Ralph says, I've worked in a grocery store for a while and the meat department. Some of the front end people could lose a game of Trivial Pursuit to the contents of their pockets. Oh my goodness. That kind that take an IQ test and the results come back negative. Is that even possible? So yesterday, I also had a visit at my doctor's to get my blood work done for my general health test, I should say. Because I do have these issues with my feet because I definitely probably moved too little. And I asked them if I could just have a general check of my health and so on now when we were there. That's what they're doing. So I had to arrive fasting. So no food for the last 8 hours. So basically no food or drink for 8 hours before, which I did. So I stopped eating, drinking the night before, Wednesday evening. No breakfast, went straight to the doctor's after the shower and handed my arm so that they could take 3 vials of blood to test it. Then after I'd done that, the the helper, the one that had drawn my blood, looked at me and said, yeah, did you also happen to bring a pee sample with you? And I just looked at her being like, what? It's like, yeah, you should have had a pee sample with you. I'm like, nobody told me that. Like, I didn't get I didn't get a container to make a sample in advance because, like, I've had the schedule for a week almost, but nobody told me I had to to have a container for that to bring that. So I'm sorry, I do not. So she's like, okay, do you think you will be able to go now? And I'm like, it's an hour ago, maybe ish, but no promise. Yeah, okay, I'll go try. I went trying and I succeeded. Apparently, we women, we are able to do the most magnificent things when it comes to that, opposed to men, apparently. Anyhow, so she was happy and she got that, but I was just being there, being like, "Oh, you need that? It would have been nice if I'd been told in advance, you know." But yeah, I got it for them. I had to say, I definitely much rather want to use the loo at the doctor's office to deliver a pee sample than I'd like to do the doping tests that I used to do, because then, people stare at you while you do it. That's just a little bit more challenging. Anyhow, should you ever, and this comes a pro tip, should you ever at any time need to deliver a pee sample, and you are having struggles getting it released, if you're at a toilet, let the water run at the same time. It does give you this feeling of needing to go if it doesn't want to first time around. That's a pro tip for the person who used to do doping about once a year. In the sense of doping tests. I never were doped nor used doping. Oh yeah, let me just grab my purse. I keep rack of urine samples on me just in case. That's my point. Yeah, right. I was rather surprised when she was like, "Yeah, did you?" No, I didn't. And then afterwards, she was like, "Yeah, I noticed you have a dialect. I can't place it. Where are you from?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm originally from Denmark." And then she was like, "Oh, how cool. My two kids are from Denmark." And I was like, "Okay, interesting." So I thought her partner was Danish. That was the first thought that broke my mind. But she was like, "Yeah, because me and my partner, we optioned to get a Danish sperm donor." And I was like, "Oh, because apparently she was a lesbian." She and her wife both had a child each and had the same donor daddy, and they optioned for a Scandinavian donor because, as they say, the likelihood, like, one thing is that they need a donor, and the next is that they wanted something where the likelihood of an accidental ancestral relationship would be smaller, would be to take one from abroad rather than to use a Dutch one. And I thought that was a good reasoning, but I was a bit surprised, like, technically you're just like handling my blood work and so on, and now I'm basically being told about your private life. That was a bit funny. But a small world, because obviously she found it super interesting due to the fact that I was Danish. Ooh. We are getting closer to the tip. So we may actually finish this row today if we're lucky. Woohoo! Oh, wouldn't that be nice? It would. Because then Stine could, like, porty. We almost need a new room for that. Three, 2, 4, 5. Perfect. One, two. Ooh. That's why I had gotten my scraps from the bowen and ends on. Yeah. And it's not super visible yet, but my friends, we are getting closer officially. So if I'm popping over here, I can easily show because then I can see what I'm doing rather than it's being delayed. Okay, ever so vaguely, if I kind of get the right coverage, but here, which is not to see because of these light, but there's a color change coming. So we need to go through all this still, but I can start see the new color. Ooh, maybe we also reach that today. But that would just be changing cakes because we're not in for a color change. That will probably be offline this weekend. Ooh, Rev has an update on his Odyssey oven. Oh, let's hear. Guy showed up Wednesday, ended up replaced the internals. Essentially, I have a new oven and it finally works. Hallelujah! So, what's for dinner? What is for dinner? We are having tortellinis in a mushroom cream sauce. Yummy. But yeah, that's definitely a yay yay. It actually works better now when I got it as you correctly calibrated it. Oh, that's even better. So now you're ready to go back for the Master Chef. Master Chef of Waco. I get to go out for dinner. Oh, that's nice. We were invited to a friend's 25th anniversary party. They're smoking brisket. Not sure about the sides. That sounds good. Hey, no need to cook, which gives you much extra time for crafting today or cleaning or whatever chores you feel like needs to get done. Oh, I'll never be repairing this thing again if it breaks. I'm just replacing it. Apparently, Samsung appliances are just a pain to fix. I'm not so sure on dinner yet. My wife will be getting up in a minute. I will be seeing what she wants to do. That's the thing. So every time we visit my mom-in-law, she's like, "Oh, what do you guys want to eat next time?" And then I'm being like, "I don't mind you asking me, but I can't tell you because reality is I need to figure out what we're eating at home as well, and I'm running out of imaginations. So don't ask like if I don't tell you anything, it's probably because I don't even know what to make myself at home. Or make something I definitely wouldn't make, which is likely something that takes forever to make because like only for specific occasions such as Christmas, I don't mind cooking for 3 hours, but I'm not in the mood for just a regular wheat meal. No. No, no, no. We have, I think it's probably it's like a Bosch maybe, without being 100% sure. It's still going strong. And it's like old, but it's not even actually officially branded on the outside, so that's kind of cool. It's quite clean and neutral. It is a combi one, which means that it can both act as a microwave as well as it can act as an oven. It does make it a bit smaller than a regular oven, but you know, perfect size for what we need for a 2-person home, so I'm fine with that. And I think it's the one that was originally installed together with the kitchen, which means that it's going good. I mean, it's 20 plus years old. Probably should get a new one at some stage, but it works. It still works. Oh, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5. We are almost at the tip. See, here we have tippy tip. Actually, this is the tip. That means that we would then be halfway through this row. Looking at time, we are gonna cut it close to finish it today, the row, but we might succeed. Depends on how often we get distracted and how my arms feel. I mean, sometimes they just need a break. Or I need to probably, that's not a bad idea, get this one a bit up and then change my position a bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better, I think. That is also important, not to forget sometimes to be comfortable. I have a KitchenAid oven. It's a dual fuel. The range is top gas. The oven is electric. Okay. Interesting. We have a ceramic plate for the general cooking. And that's in one corner of the kitchen. And the other corner of the kitchen is my oven. And combined micro. And it's raised, so I don't need to get down to get anything into it, which is really nice. Like, that is a warm recommendation. Basically, it's on the top of my fridge. But I also don't have like a massive big fridge that pops out ice cubes and stuff like that. I just have a regular fridge, smaller fridge, especially when I have visitors or have to purchase stuff to be on the cool for a week. But honestly, generally, the fridge is perfect size for 2 people. So yeah, my oven is kind of like chest height. That was wrong. Frog. 1 stitch. Only 1 stitch. Could have been worse. 1, 2, and we are on to the next. As I said, this row is a bit quicker than the other rows because it's the quote-unquote a lazier row. Gas wrenches here are rare. Most people only have electric. Okay. Yeah, so we have electric ceramic. I have those set once if I get there and I do get to get a new kitchen. I'd like to have induction because that goes so much quicker to get pans heated up and so on. So you just basically can save a couple of minutes on your cooking every day because you don't need to wait for it to be warm. Induction is it's not completely instant, but almost instant compared to. So I said, if we ever get to a replacement, that is what I want. Just like I've said, when I get a new kitchen, if I ever get a new kitchen, but once I get a new kitchen, I also want it with a cooker installed. I don't know if you guys know the cookers. Cookers is actually a Dutch brand, and it is basically a water tap that delivers a boiling water straight from tap. So you don't need a tea kettle anymore to boil water for tea. You just open the tap on the cooker and you get tea-ready water out of it. Bam! Instant. That, my friends, is a must-have in my new kitchen. But the new kitchen is like, what, 10 years from now? And a few years ago, it was also 10 years from now. So it's probably still in 10 years from now in 10 years. I don't know. But that is my dream for a new kitchen. I want it installed with a cooker and induction. 2 for 5. Yeah. Rev says, never get a fridge with an ice maker. Everyone who I know had one, had a break and caused massive water damage. Good point. Lisa says, her ice maker in her fridge is broken, but it didn't cause any water damage. It's just a lemon muddle and keeps stopped working. Ugh. I want a pot filler faucet behind the stove so I don't have to carry pots of water. Oh, that's also an option. We all have our dreams, right, for things that could work better or be better. I think, a cooker plus an induction. I'm fine with the combined stove/micro in one. That's kind of saving space. And that I am, of course, a fan of. We would probably need a new fridge also then, like probably get generally a lot of new things. We do currently have a reasonably new dishwasher. That we could keep, but the rest would probably need to be replaced once we get there, if it's not replaced before then. And maybe I'd even consider saying getting a different fridge with an inbuilt freeze department, just one part. That could, yeah, because right now I have a whole unit taking up freezer space. But honestly, I also have a freezer taking up a bunch of space upstairs because the small freezer down here is not that big. It's just very handy for not always having to get upstairs. And I know it sounds crazy to have a freezer upstairs, but that's just how it works in the Netherlands. Even my laundry machine is upstairs on the attic. That's a Dutch way of doing things because they don't have a room, like a hallway room where they would put it. 2 for 5, 2 for 5, 3 and 3. These are easy. That's 2 times 3. But yeah, the cooker is definitely on my wish list for easy water. Here it's normal that laundry is in the basement, so no different. Not so different. Yeah, honestly, I would find it reasonably okay to have laundry in the basement because that would happen in Denmark too if you had a basement. But I mean, mine is on the attic. The apartment where my mom-in-law lives has a different designated room for laundry machine and dryer. So I have my laundry machine, I have my dryer, and I have my freezer on the attic. 1, 2, 3, and in the fourth we enter the stitch. And if I am counting correctly here, should I have not 5, but probably 6 when we get to the tip. We're heading towards the tippity tip. I'm actually kind of happy that I didn't end up rewinding all these cakes into new cakes based on color changes. I really think that just working off them individually, because, you know, if I would have started on the center, it would have been different because that would have been more difficult. So then I would have had to kind of cake them down. But being able just to work straight from the cake right now is quite nice. Let's see, there should be 2, 4, 6, but I'm missing a stitch. So we do get to frog a little back because I missed a chain. A chain 1. Now I just need to get the yarns. So on the hook. I missed a chain 1. But further than that, everything was correct. So that's nice. Lisa's 2 freezers living in her garage. I don't have a garage. I could theoretically have them in my shed, I guess. Like the garden shed. That's seen before down here. But I think we have limited space there already as is. So I'd rather not. I have a chest freezer in my dining room and a small freezer over my fridge. A chest freezer in the dining room? That's a new one. That's a new one to me. But yeah, why not? Why not? If it works. The chest freezer I have, I think it's a chest freezer, at least. It's like, you know, you open and you deep dive down in it. Small by American standards, Europeans would charge 800 euros a month to rent it out. Yeah, it's a chest freezer we have. We have a small one. It's only like probably like 120 liters. So what's that in gallons? Just for the US guys. That's about 0.25. Oh, that's not true. It needs to be multiplied, obviously. Duh. And then it's 0.26 for odd. So it's probably like 30 to 32 gallons, roughly speaking. So it's not very big, but it's big enough for, again, we're a 2-person household. The reason I have 2 freezers is because we buy a whole cow of beef at a time. So one is for beef, the other one is everything else. That makes good sense. And I guess when you buy a whole cow at the same time, you can also get a nicer discount because you can probably do some deals straight directly with the farmer. Or the slaughterhouse for that matter. It used to be like this, at least when I was younger, that if you had, like my granddad, for example, he used to have pigs. He did a couple of pigs every year in his stables, and then in the autumn they would be slaughtered, and then they had some sort of an agreement with how it should be butchered at the butchers, and then the family could buy like half a pig or a whole pig or whatever, based on the costs had. And that was definitely generally back then a lot cheaper. Plus, you knew exactly how the animal had been treated and likely what's been fed and all those things, which can be a daily concern with your meat, right? 6. It does remind me, I am absolutely back at laughing when I'm watching Clarkson's farm. But he's doing a darn good job of promoting farming and a closer distance from farm to table, which I like. I think if my life were different, like let's assume I wasn't so active with my sport, and let's assume I would live in Denmark and not be with my current partner, I would likely have like a small place where I would also have some animals and feed them up for easier meals and stuff like that. Definitely. Have my own little farm, like a farmstead kind of feeling. We can do deals. We deal with a butcher. They almost directly across the street from my house. Well, that's easy then. I'm an oddball, so I wouldn't want to know. I'm an oddball, so I would want to know the cow's name. I would label as a Bessie's Burgos or whatever. Okay, that's funky, but yeah, why not? My granddad also had chickens. He basically had any type of animal, and I remember with the chickens, he was very clear because I had a tendency of naming the animals, especially when I figured out which was which and so on, right? And my granddad always said, "You're allowed to name them. That's okay. But I do not want to hear anything from you when it happens to end on your dinner table." So I knew. I knew what the purpose was going to be for a lot of the animals, right? Some of the chickens was easy because they were there for eggs. 4, 6, 7. And the rooster was likely going to stay there for a while, so he was an aggressive bitch. Which is definitely not very correct to say. He was an aggressive bloke. He should have been slaughtered earlier, the last one he had. But yeah, so the only animal I think he didn't slaughter intentionally for food was his horses and dogs and cats. Anything else is just when the chickens were done laying eggs, they would go into soup chickens. Things like that. General rule, don't name meat animals, only pets. Yep. Well, I guess I was okay with it because I knew, like, I was told how it was going to end from the beginning. As I said, like, I worked as a meat cutter for a while, so I don't need the separation from where my food comes from. Nope. I definitely also know where it comes from. I've been a part of butchering the animals on the farm, and I'm definitely not afraid of doing so. A couple of years ago, well, probably more like 5, 6 maybe. I don't know. Sometime before COVID, I had bought some things with me back from a competition in Denmark because he really enjoys the blood sausage here. But he's also a hunter, so he goes hunt. And he said, like, do you want something in return? And I said, I know you do shoot geese from time to time, wild geese. So it's like, next time you have a goose or a geese in multiple, but one should be enough. You know, like, you give me that one. Love a pair of geese chests. And he was like, yeah, well, I am going hunting on, I don't know, Wednesday or something like that. But I won't have time to to remove the feathering and all that stuff for you. Okay, I can do that. Like, I've done that before, like many years ago. And he came with a goose, and he gave it to me in the hands with feathers and everything on. Here. And I took it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'd forgotten how big these geese were. Like, so I was being like, okay, how am I on earth gonna sit this one into boiling water to be able to pull off those feathers? And then he was like, no, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna remove the skin as you would if it was a deer, because else you won't be able to see where it's been shot. It was shot with a shotgun. So, so that's what I ended up doing, and the rest was, and whatever that was not eatable, all went into my recycling bin for bio waste. And I had 2 pair of geese breasts and a bit of extra, like geese legs and stuff like that. But I have to say, when I was standing there getting into my hands, I was being like, that's a long time ago I did this. I should probably have known that it's gonna be quite some work. But yeah. I think he was more impressed that I wasn't afraid of doing it myself. And I was just having this sort of flashback feeling of, oh my goodness, I actually said yes to do this, but yeah, sure, I'll be fine. How was it again that I did this? Yeah, skin it. That's what the word I was looking for. He recommended me to skin it rather than to pluck it. So I skinned it, according to his recommendations. It did taste okay. I find it odd how squeamish people who will gladly eat a steak or whatever, and then get when they get to see the carcass being processed. Like, if you're gonna eat the animal, at least have the decency to understand where it comes from. Yep. It's why I try and get meat from the better treated animals when possible. I agreed. Honestly, I think a lot of people aren't aware, and it's the same right now these days. There is a lot of animal activists. Like, they see farmers try to advertise how they treat their animals and that they are doing better compared to others and so on. And then you see a calf being born, and then a lot of people are commenting, oh, and how long is it allowed to stay with its mama, blah blah blah, where I'm like, some will definitely be allowed to stay longer than others, and it depends, because if it's a beef animal, it will stay with its mom for the rest of its life until they decide for it's time to move on, right? Or mama needs to get a new calf. And for dairy cows, to some extent, no, they can't stay with the moms all their lives, because obviously mama has to give milk. And don't tell me that all these people being like, oh my goodness, how long will they get? Oh my goodness, I did too many double crochets. Don't tell me they don't drink milk themselves. So how would they drink milk from a cow without supporting this type of environment? People are rather naive, right? It's easy to say things and do something else. Lisa's no problem with butchering down an animal. We have butchered many pigs, a few deer and chickens. Yep. I think we all get it in here. At least I have a feeling we do. But those city people who never grown up anywhere close to a farm, and the reality is also, that's what another person is saying, right? Like, there's been one that shows something about how they did their pigs and how the sows were pregnant and what they expected to get from them and so on. And the first comments were just being like, yeah, and now they're living 4 weeks in those tiny, tiny stalls, which I'm like, yeah, it's for the safety of the piglets, because if they don't, they'll just get squashed under mama pig. Most of the time, they actually do live more rooming and spacious. And then it's discussed, should they be producing so many that they will export the piglets, or what is, because apparently Danish pig farmers has become quite successful in producing more piglets than the sow can technically handle, because there is only so many teats. And That's a different level of discussion, right? And then I'm like, again, don't tell me that they aren't vegetarian. Like, I bet that they're eating meat. I would be surprised if they are actually vegetarian. People making these comments, I'm like, the farmers is just trying to showcase that they are treating the animals the best way possible within their abilities. Oh, I had to pluck geese a few times when my hubby went goose hunting. I told him never again, they are so greasy. These are next time you skin them. If he goes goose hunting, you skin them, flay them, basically. And then you just have the goose breast over. Apparently, it's the only real worth eating next to the drumsticks. Plus, then you can really see where the entry were much easier than with the skin on. That's what I learned from my thank you for the goose hunter experience. Don't forget to hydrate. Mm-hmm. Yum. Good tea. Then we are on the other side of the tip. So we are on the home stretch of 27 tips to do. And the colors of the next color slowly showing really here on the cake. So yeah, we may just as well get to change cake today. Which would be really awesome because then we made the day's quota. And anything else is positive because that's like working ahead. The geese he hunts really only have breast meat, not even decent drumstick. He just cuts them out for now. Yeah, okay. But yeah, then I'm like, but if you just eat the breasts, of course I get it's nice with the crispy skin, but I would say just flay them. Then you don't need to worry about the feathers at all. Or maybe you could make bath meat out of it. Like this like raw meat people feed their dogs. I can feel on my hands. I need to lean back a bit. I hope it's not too bad for you guys that I'm here down back. Can pull you guys a bit closer if you want. But I feel that I need to sit a bit differently. Oh, yeah, okay, that's no go. Your dog is allergic to any sort of poultry. Yeah, then it's a lot of effort to make. The view is fine. Good to hear. 2, 4, 5. And else I can always, if we want to change the view a bit, we can still pop you guys up a little bit higher. It's easy to do. Can't really zoom though, because we are sort of fully inzoomed. Ooh, what? Lisa says, update on my Michael's trip yesterday. I only bought 1 skein of Kiranjan. How did you manage to buy only 1 skein? Or were what's left just not interesting at all? That could also be, of course. I mean, that sounds like you must have been withholding just 1 skein, or it was just genuinely nothing interesting left. Phew. The prices are nuts what they're selling. 17 Canadian for a carrot cake. No thanks. Fair enough. It has to be price technically reasonable, else makes no sense regardless. Of all curiosity, what does value sock yarn cost over in the States? Like we're talking, or States or the Canada's. Like we're talking about, let's say it's a 75% wool, 25% nylon or polyamide blend. Just curiosity's sakes, help me. What would you get like? And of course you need like, let's say 100 grams or 3.5 ounce, because you need to be able to make socks with like not necessarily anklets if you do a regular one. The Stria says you always find good deals. Always good to find good deals, for sure. I haven't found good deals for a bit. Not completely true, but I'm also not allowed to buy yarn. I'm trying to use up some yarn. Sorting my stash. I got a skein of Bernard Fluffy for $3 because it was missing a ball band. Oh. Ah! Hey, Lisa's daughter. How would I have known? I only hear about your daughter. Like, wonderful to meet you. But yeah, she does find good deals. That is true. It becomes all family-wise. I mean, I would be surprised if my mom has left, but she could have. She's not always good at saying goodbye. But she's probably still hanging out while she's knitting on the sweater I ordered, or t-shirt. Rev says he made a queen-sized blanket in Bernat Fluffy. Okay. I'm not familiar with Bernat Fluffy at all, which means that Stina has to go and Google because Stina wants to know. Fluffy. Let's pop over. This is what I find, so please convey me that I am finding the right one. Well, that's a decent skein size, I would say. 380 grams, so 9.8 ounces to 380 meters. Of course, it's all sold out. It always is. Everything is sold out when I look at Janspiration's website. But product details: 90% polyester, 10% nylon. Shipping and returns, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Temper-fried low heat. It doesn't look fluffy in the same way as some of the blanket yarn does. So I wonder why they named it like this. Or is it like more fluffy texture than it looks on the photo? Just curious. I use lint roller every time I work with it. Okay, so it fluffed off the yarn. That's why the name. I was concerned about that, but I figured for $3 I'll deal with it. That's the right one. Okay. And Hella verifies she is indeed still with us. So we have a real mom-daughter ongoing here. That's nice. Lisa got the lavender color. It's more fluffy than the photo. It's a blown yarn. Ah. Yeah, then the photo definitely sort of makes a disappointment. But of course, Inspiration's website is shite. Well, I just went through all my I realized so very well I did my American yarn sorting. And then, oh my goodness, I totally forgot my Karen yarns. Like all my Karen Simply Softs. So, well, that's the next one we're going through because, yeah, I forgot. That's going to be in like a week and a half-ish from now. If I keep up the pace. Rev says here's the blanket. I will show it to you all in a few. I just want to get to the tip here because then I do my counting and I can get ready for the next few stitches. So hang on for a minute. 2, 4, 5 plus 3, and the other side here is also 2, 4, 5. Yep. I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it yet. Here we go. That's gorgeous. I love the colors. Nice and fresh. They all contrast one another in a nice way. Yep. Looking good. I gave my Simply Soft to my daughter. I despise that yarn. Well, I don't know if I despise it in particular. I got a bunch for a really good price. Like I paid maybe 3 or 3.5 euros per skein from somebody that was destashing her yarn. I guess she stopped crafting or something. So I definitely wouldn't say I despise it. I am gonna work something out of it. Agreed with Susan. It is a nice blue and gold or yellow. I can't figure out if it's yellow or gold, but could be a darker yellow or light gold. Ralph says it was a gift for his stepdaughter. Yellow and blue are her favorite colors. That makes good sense. So yeah, I did once make a variable from the current Simplysoft, and I learned that I did not like the fit, and I donated it away. That was one of my very first variables. It's like 4 years ago. No, not 4 years ago. Wait a minute. Yeah. Holy crack. It's been 4 years. About 4 years ago, I finished it, and I ended up donating it because I was definitely not happy with it. It's called Sunshine, if you recall it correct. Okay. Stria says the only part of the Simplysoft I don't like is the pills so much. One wouldn't think that that would be the case, right? But I can imagine, actually. Some of them, like 2 of them, I have so much of that I could probably make like a hexicard or something like that out of it. And then some of them I only have like 1 skein of, or 2 skeins, or whatever. And those I may end up doing, I don't know, just knit or crochet a hat or whatever. I definitely had the feeling that I found more than I thought I had when I went through them and got them stashed. So I still need to do the editing of the video for 5. Simplysoft works very well in those Addy machines. Yeah, I don't have an Addy. I have the bread machine, which is called My Hands. Oh yeah, and I have a really, really nice box also of, it's called Fenna, but it's more like, you know, Hobbies Carnival, which is a bit similar to Landscapes, but thinner. It is a variegated, but also a rowing style, yet also 100% acrylic. And that is going to be awesome to make hats. And I made, what was that? How long time is that ago? Probably 2 years ago. I made a pair of fingerless gloves in crocodile stitch in a similar yarn. It's a bit similar to, Lisa, you know, the Lanabella from Ice Yarns. We looked at it last week. I don't have an Addy either, but I have 2 flatbed knitting machines, but they are both wrong gauge for the yarn. Okay. We are just hand workers. Through and through. So, we can also take the argument, if you knit a hat on a knitting machine like the Addy or the Centro, would you consider that handcrafted or machine crafted? What are your thoughts here? To what, where lies the border as to what's handcrafted and what's machine crafted? Machine, Rose says. Susan says yes and yes. Rev says Addy hats are machine knit. Yeah, sort of. Stria says I would still say handcrafted but machine stitched. Yeah, it's kind of in between, right? Handcrafted, not hand knit. That's a good one. Because as long as you're not using the screwdriver attachment, I would say. Because if you crank it yourself, it's definitely still hand cranked. Exactly. Sewn garments use machines for stitching. Yeah, I get it's a difficult definition. That's why I'm like, where are we dragging the border? Two for 5. Yay. 2 for 5. So far, we're still keeping it up. So so far I haven't popped into another place where I need to frog. Yes. This eternal feeling of still being on right track is nice. Just because they're machine knit does not mean that they are mass produced. Very valid. Stria says I use an electrical wheel for spinning. I still call it hand spun. It also takes a while if you need to like keep the wheel spinning if you do hand spin right. Like it takes forever. That's a patience game, spinning yarn. Plus you can use some fun yarn to do combos in them. True. Can also do that with hand knit. It just takes longer. The only thing I don't like about those hats is that you can't decrease, increase for the crown. Nope. Two for 5. 5. Yeah. Whew. Can't believe it's already 4 p.m. here. Oof, time flies today. But that's what happens in good company. If you use DK weight yarn and decrease the rows, you can make children's beanies and an natty. Okay. Well, I have a children's bucket hat right over there. I did weave in the ends. So I've been a good girl. And there was exactly enough yarn. Now I have a little bit left I could use for a crazy project at some stage, but maybe just end up in my scraps, which I think it will. Yeah, 2, 4, 5, 3, 3, and then 5 on the other side would be nice. But yeah, that's a big box of yarn because I think there's like close to 80 skeins or something like that in the Finna box, which we haven't gone through yet. I mean, jeebus. More yarn to add to my stash. I don't know if it will be how many ball skeins and hikes I'll get to when I'm done. I don't know. Too many. But we should be, if everything goes well, here at the end of June, 3 cakes shorter or less. We are working on it right now. Oh, I have a YouTube recording for everyone. The video is Can Fantasy Teach Us History? Did Hobbits knit? Good question. Maybe they did. I don't know if they did. Maybe they did. Sometimes I'm just wondering how people figure it out. Let's do this and call it crochet, or let's do this and call it knitting, and realizing that it's actually making garments, right? Like, think back many years ago, it was like more like taking a skin of an animal and trying to put it a bit together. But at some stage, we haven't gotten from only wearing skin and pelts to weaving threads together and to knitting threads together and to crocheting threads together to actually make wearables. Honestly, they probably did not knitting, not as knitting really was for making socks and more than anything, and hobbies do not wear socks. That's true. Maybe you're right. I don't know. That could indeed also be a good point. But I mean, at what stage does people figure out that if we do this instead, we can also get some really nice garments out of it, right? Like, when do we realize that the fleece from the sheep turns into this lovely wool that we can then spin together and make thread, and then use 2 pair of sticks and put it together and make garments? Like, when did we figure it out? But dwarves probably did nail binding. Yeah, they said the Vikings did as well. Meanwhile, Jessica is at row 15 for her heart collector's shawl. Awesome, Jess! I am on the second half stretch of row 53. And we are still cracking on here in the hope that, oh my goodness, didn't my fingers like go really bright? They did. Shall we see if we can get... Oh, it is because we are the default light here. We need to get them a bit darker, my friends. Oh, that went even worse. My crickets. Ooh, see, this is better. Why didn't you say anything sooner? I just didn't notice. That's much better. You can actually see what I'm doing, like really see what I'm doing. Susan has to go soon, so she said goodbye to everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us today, Susan. I hope you had a good time, and maybe I'll see you on Monday. Anytime. I'm planning on being back on Monday. Next week is going to be a busy week because if everything goes according to plan, we are going to have 3 streams on Monday. So 1 stream Monday, 1 stream Wednesday, and 1 stream Friday. Woohoo. Tuesday I'm not home, and Thursday I have an appointment, and of course I also have work, but it makes it a bit easier here on my end. And have a great weekend, Susan, indeed. I hope you will have a wonderful weekend. In fact, I hope everybody will have a wonderful weekend. Looking at the time, I think we may just reach popping on the other cake today, which would be the 3rd cake of this color. Ooh. And now that would be really nice if we make that. And here we have the color change. Look here. So here we are the color change from, maybe you can see it. I don't know. Can you? No, you can't because I'm too far forward now. Because I changed the camera angle. So we should probably move it down a bit. Okay, so here you can see it. There. For the previous row, we changed the color. And now I'm actually coming back in that color. But I'm always almost like slowly heading into my next cake. So at some stage here now, I think it's really good because if we really, and maybe that's more visible now because I changed the saturation. Yeah, see, now this looks better than this very screamy white, because it's not white. But if you look at how slow the changes are on this color change, I think we'll be fine as we get further out. That it's like, because it's really being gradual compared to. Meanwhile, Stri is in row 17 of an octagon cardigan. I can't stop making them. Sounds like you need to start doing markets or something like that, just selling octagon cardies. Meanwhile, Lisa is 6 inches off the 21 of her Musselbro hat. Yippee, yay, yay, yay. Maybe that is a project I need to try at some stage. But it's so skinny needles. What needle size are you, like, what size needles are you doing? Please, no American numbers. I don't do American numbers. Please, in millimeters. That would help me. Are they like 3mm needles, or are they like 3.5 or 4? Or what are they? Because I don't think my needles go further down than a 3.5. Which would probably be okay because I am a reasonably tight knitter, but still, it's like if I would want to attempt making one at some stage. Oh gee, I don't have so tiny needles. Lisa says I don't do American numbers either. I'm using sock yarn on 2.25mm needles. What needles are you having? Like what make? Knit Pro or Giagos or? There's an endless supply of different knitting needles as well one can use these days. You bought a fixed circular from Giago for these. Okay. I can also imagine why that's needed. I've sometimes been debating, especially for doing those bulky ones. So it works fine with my interchangeable ones, but would I maybe instead want a fixed one because the end is then even shorter, right? Oh my goodness. Sorry for the yawns. And I was really trying to get to bed on time last night. And still, it took me at least 30 minutes extra to fall asleep than I had planned. But I was still sort of going to bed semi-early compared to what I normally do. And this morning, I was still tired as if I had not slept at all. So it was one of those nights. 5. Yeah. Still good. It's a problem after using these. I kind of fell in love with the Giago needles and I don't want to use my other needles anymore. Oh, so Lisa, we talked about Christmas presents. I know you just had birthday, so that's kind of too late, but you can put them on your Christmas list. Like, I mean, it's a valid, solid wish for a gift. Two, 4, 5. Yeah, we are getting closer. We have probably like 10-ish or so rounds on the spindle left for the next cake change. So we're definitely doing that today, which means then I am on track with what I need to do if we want to finish this in June. But I need to try to get ahead of track the coming days this weekend because I know I'm not home Tuesday. And now I need to watch out here. So almost yarn baffed on a meter of yarn. We do not generally buy each other gifts. If we want something, generally we just buy it ourselves. Yeah, that's kind of the problem when you have enough, right, of everything, like financially you have enough. I remember it was different as a child. It was so much easier to find wishes, but as I've gotten older and also have let's call it more financial freedom, we just get what we need. We don't wait for Christmas or our birthday because what I really want, which is more expensive, it's too expensive to put on my wish list in any case. We do presents, generally speaking, with my family and so on for Christmas and birthday. Um, but I mean, I think it's more symbolic because in the end, it's just a question of exchange of money to some extent. I bought hubby a Father's Day gift. Oh, sweet. I told him yesterday that I bought him something, not what I bought. He told me to return it. I told him, sucks to be him. I can't return it. Well, yeah, then it sucks to be him. So my partner had birthday. It was his birthday Tuesday, and I gifted him massage at where I see my own massage therapist. He's doing a good job, so I thought, well, that was a good way of doing it. So I decided to gift him a couple of treatments because we also at a point where, oh my goodness, what am I gonna gift you? Or opposite. So I optioned for gifting him a couple of treatments, which I paid. So the only thing he has to do is to show up and enjoy. Um, and that's because we are, as I say, we have no idea what to like. Do we really need to get anything specific? Oh, not as much as we once had to, I guess. I find good gifts. He's a Star Wars fan. I found a piece of the Tahahuhan meteorite mounted in a frame. It's from the place where they filmed the part of the movies in Tunis. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool, Lisa. One of my friends, I haven't seen him for ages though, but one of my acquaintances, that's probably more correctly to say, one of my acquaintances, he is actually the graphical designer of a lot of the Star Wars things. So when you see stuff made like cartoon wise and so on, he's the animator and graphic designer and stuff of that. He made a whole graphic book um, showcasing their the machines and so on. I don't know if it's actually obtainable as a purchase. And he was hired for them to do it, so he went basically to Hollywood to draw. Back in the days, it was pretty cool. Some of them. But yeah, so in rough, short terms, he's a technical illustrator. He also does other stuff. But he's basically a licensed Lucasfilm artist for the Star Wars and also apparently the Indiana Jones. Haha. That's pretty cool. But basically, what you did, what's done is that they were making a lot of lots of drawings, of technical drawings, showcasing the technology of these. That's maybe something for your husband. Let me pop over there. I don't know if you're familiar with these. I think you can actually purchase them as books, so to say. So you can like see the cross sections of the spaceships and so on. And yeah, that's technical art by an acquaintance of mine. So that's pretty cool. I think that is super cool. You can see how they change up here. So that's some of the things he's made. That's pretty awesome, to be honest. So that's a different way of looking at things, which is kind of cool. I was actually at some stage wondering if I should ask him to get a book and then has his signature put in it. Because I think that would be a great gift for my sister's husband. So my brother-in-law, so to say. Because he's definitely a Star Wars fan. So that would have been a good gift. But yeah, as I say, I haven't seen him for a long time. I've seen his wife more often. Yeah, it's super cool, Shreya. I agree. I mean, it's just things that's somehow unique and special. 4, 5. Yes, we are getting there. Another, like, what, 5 rounds on the spindle-ish? Then we'll have a cake change. You know, this goes so slow because every row takes forever that I barely feel I make progress. But these, like every time I change cake or color, that helps me having at least a little bit sense of the feeling that I do actually make progress. And I'm thinking if I'm on a long stretch like this, and I know that I won't need to change cake anytime soon, I could probably also work on this on the couch. Then it is semi-couch friendly. And if I can do that, that just kind of helps me crack in more time because bottom line, it's a time issue. I have to be sneaky about buying him gifts. He does all of our financial stuff. I have to get the Stria to purchase them for him. Then I pay her. He doesn't question me sending her money. That's a good way of doing it. I guess my mom is a kind of the opposite situation because my mom does all the money work, financial stuff at my parents' place. So if my dad would go buy her a birthday present, um, my mom would see the money disappear from the account and where it was disappearing to. But I don't think that they have actually bought each other that many presents for years. They kind of stopped doing it, I guess. They have what they need. And honestly, if they are happy, then that's all right. I wonder if that's the point where me and my partner eventually gets to. I mean, come on. I give him a massage treatment rather than, well, I did give him two shirts as well. That's valid to say. His Father's Day gift is hiding on my kitchen table right now. When is Father's Day over there? Is it this Sunday or is it first next Sunday? I mean, in Denmark, Father's Day is on June 5th. That's the same every year. And in the Netherlands, I don't really keep track because my dad-in-law passed away 16 years ago. Next Sunday. Okay, that's not too far out future. June 21st. Yeah. Let's see. Did we do this correctly? 2, 4, 5. Yep. 3, 3, 5. Yeah. And oh, we are getting so close to cake change, my friends. Which is awesome. That could give us like maybe 20, 25 minutes good work in on the next. Ooh. That does make me a little happy. I am just quickly gonna insert stitch marker and unwind that last bit because suddenly it's like there and then I'm like, ooh, it was earlier than I thought it would be. But you can barely see it now because color change is so subtle. But there is a tiny, tiny bit of a yarn change here. You can see the knot. But as I said, you can barely see the real change in color here. It's just not as visible because it's so subtle now. But we are gonna cut yarns. Ta-ta. One down. And it goes into the box. When you know how big these cakes were, that feels like there's nothing left. But there's still like half-ish or so left. A bit less than half, maybe. And I mean, it's still a lot of yarn to crochet away. So, pick up the next box. In the beginning, I didn't even have room for one in each box. Like, there was just fitting one big cake was in a box. Now I can fit 2, maybe even all 3 in the same box. I don't because there is actually a lot number difference. I haven't visibly seen it on here, so I think that they're doing the lot difference pretty good. But I am intentionally keeping them apart, so I do the transition intentional. In the event there is a tiny different in the die lot. So it is like still intentional. I think I would rather want to put it like that. Yep, that flows better. The next color, or the next cake. And this is what we have left. Though not much. Not much. So yay, cake change. Not color, but cake. Feels like color, but it isn't. Well, technically it's a color change, but I cut the color and keep going on the other color, the same color and a different cake. But yeah, so that means that I have accomplished the minimum amount I should do in a day if I want to finish this in June. But we are still cracking on. And that allows me to have slacky days, right? And if I finish earlier, that's also absolutely all right. But I need to keep cracking on this because it would be anything but good not to finish in time if I genuinely want to exploit my home alone weekend for blocking, which I think I do. One, two. Do I have enough yarn to get up there? Maybe. That's gonna fit on top of the tip. That would be nice, kinda. Perfect. Perfect. And we are on to the next cake. Ooh. And what does this mean? That means that we are one less change to go. And we are working ahead. That, my friends, is nice. That's a good thing. 2, 4, 5. So yeah, I am going to see if I can keep up this good work this weekend. Have to. So yeah, we'll have the full color change of this lighter color through, but then going back, when this cake then changes, we can keep on crocheting on the same cake. Yay. One more less and 2 weave in. And as I said, we are going to get about 20 minutes done on this color change. 2, 4, 5. Today's my son's last day of school. I may be showing up later next week since I get to sleep in. Well, you did sleep in, like, was it Wednesday or was it last week? I don't remember anymore. But yeah, do enjoy your time. I'll see you when I see you. It could also be that I may make an evening live during my home alone weekend. That could be. That may be. But it's not something I'm going to promise because it kind of depends on everything I need to get done. So 3, 5, next, skip 2. My kiddo doesn't let me sleep in yet. Young. It will happen at some stage. I was also a very lovely child when I was smaller. I didn't get the concept of time. And I do believe I once woke up my parents and said, "Why aren't you getting up? It's morning," at like 3:30. Because the sun was up outside because of short nights in the summer. Sometimes my oldest doesn't let me either. I've definitely gotten better at sleeping in, by the way. Just get them a pickaxe and send them off to get coal. Children yearn for the mines. Ah, that's also a possibility. Or pickaxe to send them out, get some gold, right? They need to start make a living. The sooner the better. Of course, then you're better prepared for retirement. No? Oh. Hey, Fruchthuis?
Yes.
Oh, partner has an early day off work. It's almost also anyhow 5 here. So we are probably going to have a goodbye saying. And then I'm going to see you guys on Monday. We did do great work today, which I'm super pleased about. I am going to wish you all an absolutely freaking fantastic, amazing weekend. Take care. Bye.